has to be talked about because he had all these injuries along the years and all these issues that he had. His longevity
Unbelievable.
is second to none.
Unbelievable.
Second to none.
In sports.
So,
in sport, not just tennis. In
second
sport.
to none. By the way, longevity, not just playing the sport. No, he was on top of the world for so long. So he was only player to be world number 1 in 3 different decades.
That doesn't make sense.
He's the only one that can say that.
I don't even know how.
3 different decades. People, I think when he came out for the first 3 years, like, this thing can't continue. This can't continue. He can't play this physically for that long. That people say about Alcaraz now. Let's see how that one goes. But people said that about Rafa. 3 different decades, he was world number 1.
That's
crazy.
Normal. It's incredible. Incredible.
Then add on to that, then also he's the only player to win multiple slams in 3 different decades.
That's also crazy.
Multiple
it's
slams.
also,
Like fine, world number 1, you can say fine. He got this one in end of this decade, and then he got this one at this point. Fine, the 2010s. That was when he was peaking, and then he got one in the beginning of 2020. But how about winning multiple slams in 3 different decades?
To win slams, you have to be amazing. To win a title, to win a Grand Slam, you have to be awesome. You have to win 7 best of 5s against the top players in the world. It means you had to beat the best players multiple times along the way.
It's also mentally just to do that. Mentally
Imagine.
going.
It's amazing. Like for me, what's mind blowing is 912 consecutive weeks in the top 10.
That makes no sense.
Like that means you never left the top. Like, you know how demanding the tennis season is, and to stay in the race and to stay in the top 10. He did that for 912, almost 1,000 weeks.
Nothing, and I don't know if there's anything in sport that gives you as much pressure as defending your points in the next as tennis does.
So tough, so mentally draining, so draining.
But 912 weeks, that's what, 17 and a half years.
Where he was top 10, where he's among the 10 best players in the world. And periods of that
when
time,
guys make it into the top 50, it's an achievement. And imagine making it to the top 100 is actually an achievement. Now this guy inside the top 10 for 17 and a half years makes absolutely no, it makes me, so many things have already blown my mind, but that's why this guy, he can't be someone who's a role model. He's something beyond.
He's an icon.
He's something
living.
Beyond.
We're sorry, Rafa, we didn't appreciate you enough while you were still
I tried.
bombing.
Well, some
tried.
people were appreciating
I
this
didn't
fight.
know.
Some people.
I didn't know what we were gonna miss.
You just were.
I didn't know.
You didn't
one that
appreciate in the
wasn't
beginning. I
appreciated.
appreciate from the beginning, but then it was throughout the years. I was like, maybe we did not. Even though I was the biggest Rafa fan, I did not appreciate the guy as much as I should have. Now that he's gone, it hurts so much. But
It hurts so much.
It's nice to see that you can go back and probably untouched records.
We're gonna go back and watch all these things because it's just unlimited, iconic memories. He's the youngest player to have ever completed the career Grand Slam. He did that at 24 years old. 24 years old, yeah, which already it's mind blowing. But it becomes more mind blowing when you realize that he was also the oldest player to ever complete the double career Grand Slam. Like so, he did it as the youngest player, then he did it as the oldest player. To manage all the different surfaces and the different fitness and the versatility that you need to have in your game.
The amounts of injuries that he had.
Injuries and the mental toughness to just keep changing your game, to adapt to the new eras and to compete. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't
just amazing.
By the way, I just also want to mention something else, just also because, well, you have to compare him in a way, and also just to put everything that he's done into context. There's people like players like Stanislas Wawrinka, that is a legend. He's managed to win slams among the big 3 and the big 4, and we consider him one of the best players of all time. Rafa's record against him is 13-0. What?
13-0.
Doesn't make sense.
No.
He's never beat Rafa. Like Wawrinka has never beat Rafa. Also, he's never touched him. Also, your boy Yousef, your boy Verdasco, 17-3 with Rafa. Berdych.
I heard a 3 though. That wasn't a 0, so that's something.
It's something. It's something. Yeah. Also, Berdych, an amazing player. Had a great career, always being having deep runs in slams.
Legend, Hall of Famer.
20-4. And last but not least, but sorry, Richard Gasquet.
His boyhood rival,
Yeah.
who was compared to Rafa. Imagine he was the one they were comparing Rafa to. Rafa was ahead of him.
one of the best French.
Sorry, Gasquet was
Yeah,
ahead of
Gasquet
him.
was
ahead of Rafa.
one of the
Yeah.
best French players of all time. You could argue he has had also a great career, and he still didn't retire yet, and it's still going. 18-0.
That's the one that doesn't make
That's-
sense. That's the one that doesn't that's for me like the most shocking. That's your boyhood rival. That's supposed to be the guy they were.
Maybe he can get one. He couldn't even get one.
He couldn't steal one when he was young. Like just steal one from a young
No
Rafa.
disrespect.
Rafa never gave
no
him one.
disrespect to Gasquet though, because but
It's all the respect to Rafa. It's no disrespect to anyone. It's
There's no
just more respect to this
yeah,
guy.
I didn't want to throw Gasquet there, but Rafa, we have to mention these things because Rafa needs to get the respect he deserves.
Also, most consecutive seasons with a slam. 10 seasons with at least one Grand Slam title. It's just endless records. We could go on and
Yeah,
on.
that's probably gonna.
We can go on and on, but
If we want, this segment can go for hours.
it can and would love to. But I have a question for Yousef, and you've been following Rafa his whole career, especially, as a lefty Rafa fan. Has Rafa been given the respect he deserves for being a great player on all surfaces?
No. They haven't given him the respect he deserves because of how amazing he has been on clay. They haven't given him the respect he deserves.
On clay, he's so dominant. He's been so amazing.
If you want to look at his career, let's take out the clay. How many slams does he have? How many does he have?
8.
He has 8 slams. He has 8 slams off clay. If we took away clay, that makes him one of the greatest players of all time. He took down Roger
Matches
in the peak of his powers in Wimbledon. He has the second most U.S. Open titles in history. 4.
That's
and
amazing.
He has 2 Australian Opens. So this guy has won on every single surface. And just because he dominated on clay doesn't mean that we should disrespect him on all the other surfaces. Rafa's one of the greatest players of all time. Not the greatest clay courter. He's one of the greatest players of all time, and the stats show it. And so anyone that says no, he's the king of clay. Yes, he is the king of clay, but he is also one of the best ever on hard, and he's one of the best ever on grass. And people should never, ever forget that. And if you want proof, there is proof. The numbers. Look at the slams. 8 slams if you take away the clay. So yes, of course, they disrespect him and they don't show him the respect that he deserves. So put some respect on my boy's name.
Yeah, also, you're talking about just the titles. How many finals has he made it to Wimbledon?
Exactly.
5 finals. How many finals at Australia? 6.
Exactly.
Just he's competing at the highest level. He just runs into bulldozers
Yes,
like Roger and Djokovic. And so, yeah, he's absolutely one of the best ever. He's at worst top 3 ever.
At worst, he's top 3 if you... No, fine. Sampras is... He's top 4 if you remove the clay. Fine.
Yeah.
Then he goes head-to-head with Agassi.
Yeah, he's better than Agassi.
Yeah, no, I'm saying if you remove the clay, he goes head-to-head with
If
Agassi.
you remove the clay, he's still better than Agassi because of the number of finals he has on all the surfaces. He's still better than Agassi. All due respect to Andre Agassi, iconic, mentally tough player, but he's still
my idol. These are 2 of my idols. So
Let's
let's
get some geezers in the comments that are gonna rage at you.
No disrespect for the old timers. Hey, Agassi's awesome.
I love
I'm a
Agassi.
Sampras guy. Also, they're awesome, but what Rafa did is just amazing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's
So yeah, people need to put some. The conclusion there is put some respect on Rafa's name, not only on clay, on every single surface. He's one of the best of all time on all surfaces.
It's one of those rare situations where you're so good at something that people don't appreciate.
You're the
how good you
victim
are
of
at others.
victim of your own success.
He is.
He's a victim of his own success.
He is. He's the dominance on clay is just so wild. People can't comprehend how good he was off it.
It's crazy.
he's come on. We're gonna keep on talking about him for hours and hours.
Have a good night. Good night. Good night. Very good night.